Hi, I'm Chaplain Stephen, and I wanted to kind of share an experience. I've done some YouTube videos before on near-death experiences, but this one really caught my attention. Because of HIPAA, I can't really tell you anything about the patient, but I can talk about the experience. This experience was different. All right, I mean, I found it really unique, and that it's never heard of an experience this way, as far as because when you work in a hospital, you get a lot of people telling you their experiences, near-death experiences, even family members. And so you get quite a few of them. But this one really kind of caught my attention, so I'm going to kind of go through this with you. Um, this man, he had surgery. I think he said about 2 weeks ago, and I've talked to him before, but I didn't know all the details about him. But we sat down and really talked for quite a while, and he requested to see a chaplain, so I came and went, and that's what started this whole discussion. But anyway, we talked about it, and he said the kind of experience began when he was in bed, when he was in surgery, and he had this, kind of like dreamlike effect that he was actually in bed, and an angel came to his bedside, and the angel gave him something, and the angel was telling him, really, you got to really hold on to this. You cannot let this go. And what it was, it kind of described as a token or as something that just looked like old, just anciently old. And the angel just kept really stressing, this is really important that you hold on to this. Right at that moment, from what I understand, he said right at that moment he finds himself in hell. And in hell, what it is that all the demons that were around there noticed that he was there and they knew what he had. And this token is extremely rare when he was telling me to have this kind of token given to him. But anyway, they were after him. And he said he fought them off, and it just went on for quite a while. And finally, he fought them off, but then he saw, when he looked up, he saw like three angels coming down, and they all just scattered. The demons just took off, and they just left. And actually, one he was telling me was under his foot, and he kind of wiggled out and got out, and the angels came down, and there were three of them. He didn't describe because sometimes angels are really neither sex, or whatever, male or female. He didn't really describe it that way at all. But there were three of them, and actually pretty much the same size too. But one of them came up to him and said, "Do you still have that token that was given to you by the other angel?" And he said, "Yeah." And the one thing about this token, it had some writing on it. But it looked like a language that he's never seen before, any kind of writing. It wasn't English or anything like that. It was very, very different. And so the angel said, "Do you have it?" And the angel really knew that he was fighting off demons, because he knew where he was, and they took him back up to heaven. But he was asking, do you have that token? And the patient said, "Yeah." And he told the angel, "I do," and he gave it to him. And then the angel took it, and the other two were just kind of looking at this thing. And the one angel said that they had the token, said, "This is an extremely rare event. Just extremely rare. I mean, this does not happen. Very rarely in the millennia of time, you don't see this." So the other two were admiring the token, and they were looking at it, and the one angel was reading what was on that token. And the token, and he said, "Do you want to know?" He told the patient, or told the person who was having the NDE experience, "Do you want to know what it means or what it says?" And the patient said, "Yeah, I would like to know." But he also realized this thing was just so old, and by the angel just verifying the fact this thing was a really very rare event that occurred here. In the meantime, he also described being in a line. And in the line, there was like the line as far as the eye could see, but there was a city at the end of this line, the city of heaven, and it's been described in other NDE experiences, but in the city of lights. And this is what this was, but there was just a long line. And the thing is, the angels were, talking to him. All the people in the line all turned around and looked at him. As far as they could see, people were just looking at him. And the angel was taking the token and looking at it and said, "Would you like to read it? And let me tell you what it says." And he said, "Yeah, I'd really like to know." And he said, "This is an extremely rare event. This does not happen. It's extremely rare." And so he told me, he says, what it says here, you're pre-approved. You're pre-approved to go to heaven. You're going right there right now. And so finds himself just, I mean, at an instant, he finds himself in the beginning of the line, right at the gate of the City of Lights. And he was pre-approved. So he's standing at the gate, and another agent comes up to him and says, you know, you've been pre-approved. But then he just stopped. The angel stopped for a second, and he's talking to somebody. The angel's talking to somebody. You can't say who it was or who it is. And he was cutting nodding his head, yeah, yeah. And then he looked at the patient and telling him, it's not your time. It's not your time. You have to go back. And so, you know, people tell me when the NDE experience, they just feel this love and unconditional love. I mean, they don't want to come back. It's so loving in there. That whole environment is just beyond anything. It's just a wonderful place to be. He didn't want to come back, but he said, you have to go back. But the one thing I want to tell you, though, since you have this token, you'll always, no matter in your whole lifetime, you'll always be approved. And when it's your time, you'll go straight to heaven. And that's the end of the story, guys. And I just never heard the phrase pre-approved. There are a lot of other stories, but not pre-approved. And so I wanted to share this with you, and I'm going to go ahead and post it on YouTube. And I've got some other stories too, and I'm going to go ahead and do another YouTube, but I wanted to keep this kind of short. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and I'm at my lunch hour, so I thought I'd take this time and do this video. Hope your day is going well, and appreciate your time, and thanks again, and figuring out how to turn this thing off. Thanks again, everybody.